Hey, my name is Adam Hoeksema. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the second of our top 5 most common mistakes that we see founders make with their financial projections when they're asking us to review their projections before they send them to a potential investor or lender. We see a lot of mistakes and things that we think could be done a little bit better, and so we are putting together a series of 5, our top 5, and this is number 2, which is traffic estimates to the business. Customer traffic estimates to the business are not based in reality. And so I'm going to show you some examples of how this might be done incorrectly and how it might really put a bad taste in your investor or lender's mouth, and then how we think you can use some data to try to back up your traffic estimates. Okay, so I have our retail plus e-commerce projection template pulled up here, which we'll put a link to this template as an example in the description of the video below. But this template, just as an example, assumes that you might have a retail store that also sells via e-commerce. So the first thing we're going to be forecasting here is the retail portion, so the physical retail store, and we need to know how many visitors per day will the store get. And so we put in some assumptions, right? 100 visitors per day in year 1, and then 125 visitors in year 2, and so on. So where do you come up with these numbers? Because we could just throw something out of the air, but these are really important numbers to get right, to be as accurate as possible, but it's hard data to find. So we have partnered with a company called Advanced Research that allows you to pull some foot traffic reports. And there are some other places you might be able to find on the internet if you do some Google searching, trying to get free foot traffic estimates for a particular location. But just as an example, what we would be able to do with this foot traffic report is put in an address and get an estimate of the number of visitors to that particular location over time. And so you could see that over the last 12 months down here, how many visitors are estimated to be at this particular business each month. And so this is a great way if you're looking to open a retail store and you don't know how many customers to estimate, you can look at some comparable businesses, some competitors, and get a foot traffic report on those competitors so that you at least have some grounding in reality. Like, if your competitor is really strong, you probably don't want to estimate that you're going to, have 3 times as much foot traffic as they have. But it's hard to know how much traffic do they have other than just sitting out in front of their business for a week and counting people. And so that's why tools like this, foot traffic data, is really useful. So that's what you would do on the physical retail. Now on the e-commerce side, there's some other tools that I think are helpful to get an estimate. In this case, you need an estimate of how many people are visiting the website, right? And again, this is something that you could just kind of be completely making up. You could just throw a number out there, and we see that often, and ask, oh, where'd you come up with that? And it said, well, I don't know, 500 visits a month sounded reasonable. So we have a tool here that we like to use called Ahrefs. And I just have an example here. So let's say you're selling swimming pools online. And so I just did a quick Google search and found that thepoolfactory.com was one of the leading websites for selling pools online. And so I was able to take their URL here and do Site Explorer search in Ahrefs. And what it then tells us is it will estimate here in this graph how much organic traffic they're getting to their website each month. And so we see they're getting around 10, 11,000 visits a month. And so again, this is really important because what it will allow you to do, if we come back to the model here, when you're entering in this organic website visitor number here, if thepoolfactory.com is your biggest competitor, they're the industry leader, you don't want to be assuming you're going to do 20,000 visits to your website, which would be double their website traffic on month 1, right? These tools don't tell you how much traffic you're going to get to your business or your website, but what they can do is help you make sure that your numbers aren't way out in left field, right? That you're not estimating or forecasting to be, on day 1, twice as big as your competitors. And so it gives you a sense of reality. And I think that's what's really important. And that's the key point with mistake number 2 that we commonly see, where customer traffic estimates are just not based in reality. So hopefully that's been helpful for you.